Hey guys, I want to thank you for your continued support. I really appreciate the fact that you guys help support my channel financially with your Patreon support. So recently I asked you guys if there's anything I can do to help give you added value to my Patreon channel. And one of the things you guys had asked me about was wanting to see behind the scenes on what I do, how I set up my cameras to record my flights. So today I'm giving you a Patreon exclusive on how I record my flights. So probably one of my most loved camera angles is from this right here, my tail mount. And as you can see in my tail mount, I have a nice sturdy mount. I can literally move the airplane. This mount does not go anywhere. And this mount came from FlightFlix. In fact, all of my mounts are from FlightFlix. So be sure to check them out or go to baronpilot.net and get a coupon code so you can save some money from FlightFlix. But so this mount from FlightFlix is their tail mount. I did have to add, they have a little adapter here that makes it a little bit wider since I have such a large eye hook here. I also am running the Ghost Drift camera, the 4K. I'm not currently shooting in 4K, but this battery on this camera as well as the memory card allows me to record up to 4 hours recording time. So those of you who've been following me a while may notice that my older videos I would take off, I'd have the tail camera at the beginning of the flight, but by the time I land, I didn't have it. So I'd say now for 90% of my flights, I now have the ability to record my tail cam all the way until landing. But the tail cam is only the beginning. So one of my most predominant shots, I'd say, is my over-the-shoulder shot. And that all comes from this mount right here. This also is from FlightFlix. You can use any camera you want. I happen to use the GoPro Hero 5s for my cameras, with the exception of the tail. But you can use whatever you want, and they have different mounts for there as well. But this mount here attaches to my seat. So you can see it comes all the way down. You probably can't see that, but there's another one all the way down here, right there. And so it wraps around the seat, and it holds it pretty steady. And so as the seat moves, of course, it moves. But once I'm sitting in the seat, it's pretty rock solid. So this is one of my favorite mounts. Then as we move to my dash cam, just kind of the over-the-shoulder that just points down, you can't see out the window of my dash. This is just basically a regular GoPro that has the double stick mount to the ceiling, and just a regular GoPro camera. It's mounted upside down, as you can see here, and it just slides right in. Sorry about that. It just slides right in, and then it's just good to go, and it gets that downward angle. But of course, you still want to be able to see out the front, and so I have this mount, again, all from FlightFlix, that attaches here, and basically there's a little ball that plugs into the screw that's right here, and that's held in by the screw, and then this attaches to that ball and looks out the front. And so this camera here is actually not a GoPro, it's a Garmin Verb, and this camera was donated by one of my supporters, so that enables me now to do the on-screen data, and I am very grateful for that. And hopefully you guys appreciate and enjoy the on-screen data as well. And then of course there's a camera that shoots back at me and gets my passenger. That's this camera right here. It's just another GoPro. It too is attached, you can see, by another double stick mount. And this is a temporary setup. You can see this little double stick mount right there. And this just slides in, and I have two arms on there to be able to allow it to swivel. This is temporary. I do plan on basically attaching the same thing I have up here to my dash to be able to give it a little more, it's still removable, but a little less clutter, less stickers, and a little more semi-permanent, even though it's not a permanent mount. And one of the biggest requests I've been getting lately, now that I have the new Avidyne IFD 550, is to get a close-up shot of the screen while I'm flying. That's actually a lot more difficult than you would think. So I just recently added, and I'm hoping this will solve the problem, and I'm kind of in the beta testing mode now. But if you do see it and it works, then you'll know how that is. I just added this camera right here. And basically what I've done is I've taken, again, another one of those double stick mounts, and I've just attached it to the yoke. Now because I'm in a Baron, I have this bar that goes across versus just having the two yokes sliding out. So that enables me to have this option. And so now my test is whether or not it will be in focus as it points to the screen. Now you're asking, well, Baron Pilot, that's fine and dandy, but how do I hear ATC? How are you getting that audio? And the answer to that is simple. there's a little adapter that GoPro makes. This is actually made by GoPro that allows you to attach a mini plug into the side of the GoPro, as you can see right here. So as this box comes down, there's a wire that attaches to it. And there's a company called InFlight who makes, and I believe FlightFlix sells it, a adapter that then comes down and attaches to your headphone jack. And basically what happens is it attaches to the listen portion of your headphone jack, and then you plug in your headphone into the headphone jack so you can hear everything that's hitting the camera. And so that's what I use to get my audio. Now, there's a couple things I've learned, and I'll give you a little insider on that. So one of the features that these GoPro adapters have is they have a USB plug on the end that allows you to charge your GoPro while you're in flight. I learned long ago, though, that when you plug it into the aircraft power, that there seems to be a grounding issue, or so I thought, that was hurting the audio. So on my most recent flight, I actually used an external USB battery charger, kind of like you use for your phone when you're on the road, in order to power them. And I've since discovered that is something with the GoPros that when they have power, they do not like using the mini audio. So now my next video either is going to have a little bit of audio issues, or I may just have to scrap it all together. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little insight in seeing how I mount my cameras and get the angles that I do. Of course, the hardest part comes down to editing. Personally, I use Final Cut Pro because that's the software I'm most comfortable with. But you can use any program you're comfortable with as well. So now it's time for you guys to go out and get your cameras, get them mounted into your airplane, and make and post your own videos. And be sure to send me a link. So until then, the sun's getting ready to set. We've got some nice calm water. I think I'm going to head out for a nice little boat ride.